My style is like an eclectic art teacher from the 80s. Because I had some eclectic art teachers in my growing up, and they're just very whimsical with their dress and almost like, you know, bohemian-like, but very bright colors, and like, that's what speaks to me. I like the Bay Area. It's very eclectic, and growing up here, I always felt fortunate to grow up in an area with a lot of diversity and culture. I grew up in a family of antique dealers and antique collectors and thrifters. And I wasn't necessarily setting out to sell to designers initially. I was just, I'll just set up an antique collectibles flea market and see what happens. And my first interaction in that business was dealing with the Japanese, actually. But it feels good to be able to have an eye for things, and people appreciate it, and it's what they're looking for. And sometimes I'll have an item on my rack forever, ever, and I'm like, I believe in this item. I believe in this. This is good. And then a designer will buy it, and I'm like, yeah. I think clothing is art, but I like pieces that look like giant pieces of art, like something like this with these ruffles and trim, and it's just very bold. And you know, I could be on a wall, or I could be out at dinner. Vintage Chanel slacks, because sometimes I like to feel like a grown-up lady. Always been a Mickey Mouse fan. I spent, I think, 24 hours. I logged my hours and made my own. So this is a vintage Mickey Mouse sweatshirt with beads and sequins. And then big earrings again. These are vintage Vans, Mickey Mouse Vans made in the USA. These are vintage Levi's red lines, probably from the late 40s or 1950s. I got these at a flea market here by my house. I paid $1 for them, and I love that the last, or the arch, is reinforced with metal. Moschino is one of my most favorite brands, and it's because of their whimsical prints, and they just have a lighthearted way of playing with fashion. It really speaks to me. I got this at a consignment shop in Las Vegas. I almost died when I saw it. I didn't care what it was, but then it was Moschino, and I was like, oh, something for the collection. And this I actually got at Squaresville in LA. Again, one of my favorites. The pants are actually something I made, and I'm starting to make out of vintage skirts. And this is a good example of my getting into something and getting really obsessed with it. It was maybe 10 years ago that I got really into designer handbags. My favorite will have to be, because I love color, this neon pink nylon Chanel bag from the 90s. This is my modern day clown look. Sophistic clown, we'll call it that. This necklace is made from the caps of Montana spray paint cans by an artist collective called Andrea Cruz. And then this giant thing is just gauzy wonderfulness. In the mid-90s, I started reading a lot of Japanese magazines, and I started seeing amazing colorways of sneakers and footwear that were not available in the United States. Designed by Espo, Stephen Powers from New York City, artist. It's all see-through. And this to me is like a piece of art. I definitely buy things for the future me. I have this idea of what I will be wearing in the future. I'll be wearing a lot of high-waisted, wide-legged trousers with a vest and a suit jacket, like a three-piece suit, with a very chic hat and high heels. I started to perhaps get more in touch with what I was just already doing as a child. Like, oh, you know, this is cool and different and unique, and I wear it, and people are like, that's just crazy. I'm like, but I like it, you know, and it makes me smile, and it makes me different than you.